Globetrotters, it's your pal, Carter, back with another adventure, and this time we're tackling a big question: Portugal or the United States? If you have ever wondered what it's really like to swap burgers for bafanas, then sprawling suburbs for cobblestone streets, then pay attention, because choosing where to drop your anchor, even temporarily, is a major life decision. Get it wrong, and you could be stuck with unexpected expenses, cultural misunderstandings, or just plain homesickness. But get it right, you could discover your dream lifestyle, unlock new opportunities, and experience a whole new world. In this video, I'm breaking down the top 10 key differences between living in Portugal and the United States, from an American perspective. This isn't just some surface level comparison. We are diving deep into the nitty gritty: cost of living, healthcare, culture, and everything in between. By the end, you'll have a clear picture of what each country offers and which one might be perfect for you. As I said, my name is Carter, and this is Atypical Vagabond. I spent years traveling the world, living in different countries, and experiencing expat life firsthand as a digital nomad. From experiencing the visa process to understanding cultural differences, I've done it all. I've also helped countless people transition to living in new countries by sharing practical insights on cost of living, job markets, and lifestyle changes. So if you're considering moving abroad, you're in the right place. My goal here is to give you a real experience based on my insights, not just theories. So I'm just here to give you an authentic experience to help you make informed decisions about your next big adventure. But before we jump in, would you rather live in Portugal or the US? Let me know in the comments below. So here, we'll go ahead and dive into the top 10 differences between living in Portugal and the United States. The first one is quite obvious. It's going to be the cost of living. And it's the big one. And in general, Portugal is significantly more affordable than the United States, especially when it comes to housing. But don't think it's all sunshine and cheap rent. The trade-off here is that salaries in Portugal are generally lower, so it's a balancing act. Rent, groceries, and dining out can cost significantly less compared to the United States, even in Lisbon, Portugal's capital. You'll end up spending far less than in the United States in major cities like New York, Los Angeles, but in smaller towns, you might have a lower cost of living, but it's still going to be significantly more than living in Portugal. The second thing that I'd like to discuss is healthcare. The big difference between healthcare in the United States and Portugal is that healthcare in Portugal is affordable, it's high quality, and it's because of the universal healthcare system that they have incorporated into the lifestyle here. It's a huge plus. But every experience obviously can be different than what other Americans have. So in America, you have to pay significantly more for health insurance. And some of the challenges as Americans living here in Portugal in the healthcare system is that there's a language barrier. And the language barrier kind of makes it difficult to navigate what you can get with your healthcare system. So then there's healthcare. Portugal has a universal healthcare system, which is a huge plus. But the experience can vary differently from what Americans are used to. We'll talk about wait times, language barriers, and what to expect. The country offers a universal healthcare system, as I mentioned, meaning that residents here pay much less for medical care than Americans, who often pay a higher insurance premiums. Though I've had friends here that have had surgeries, major surgeries, and since it was something that was a significant issue that needed to be resolved immediately, these times were significantly faster than times in the United States. Thinking about having transplants, kidney transplants, and such. This is something that it takes a lot longer for you to get the care that you need. But here it is significantly quicker. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and transition from healthcare over to safety. And living in Portugal, it is a significantly more safe country to live than in the United States. And honestly, Portugal is one of the safest countries to live in the world. It consistently ranks among the top 10 safest places to live. While crime rates in the United States are trending higher each year, especially in big cities. And if you want to live in a civilized society, really having safety as a means of how you live is essential in order to, feel a part of, to really have a high quality of life. So safety to me is one of the top things that is a difference between living in the United States versus living in Portugal. And I know that we're talking a lot of pluses about Portugal, but the thing is, it's not all roses here. It might be carnations here in Portugal, but the thing is, the job market here in Portugal is nowhere near as good as the U.S. The U.S. has more job opportunities. If you're looking for high salaries and career growth, the U.S. is generally the better option of the two. Portugal's job market is smaller and the wages are typically lower. So, with wages, you have taxes. So, this will be my fifth one. And Portugal has lower taxes for expats. For some of the people that have already moved here, they were offered a NHR program. It's a non-habitual resident, and it allowed foreigners to pay less in taxes for the first 10 years, which is a huge financial advantage. Though the thing is, it's not available to all residents that are moving to Portugal now. It is something that when you are paying taxes on everything that you buy here, it helps decrease the amount that you owe in taxes at the end of the year. So eventually, whatever you pay, it ends up being less than what you would pay tax-wise for the United States in comparison. So it's one of those things where it's not as visible, but overall, taxes in Portugal, you're going to pay less. And there is a cooperation between the United States and Portugal when it comes to taxes. So any taxes that you are paying here, it would end up going towards your liability of taxes in the United States. So get out of all the political stuff. We'll go into weather. For me, I absolutely love living in Portugal year round. It has mild, sunny weather for the most part all year round. During the winter, it kind of gets a little bit rainy towards the north. And last year, it was extremely rainy. This year, it's been pretty nice, really. But in comparison to the United States has more extreme weather. It's hot in the summer. It's freezing in the winter. There's hurricanes. There's tornadoes. There's fires going on in California. There's the hurricanes that happened recently in North Carolina and Florida and flooding. So it goes back into that safety that I was discussing. It's not just safety when it comes to interpersonal relations. It's also safety when it comes to the weather. This extreme weather that is occurring in the United States it makes it unsafe. It's just a reality. When you have storms come through, it can put you into a situation that you have no control over. So, having more moderate temperatures in comparison to living in Portugal definitely is a better situation for you to live in if it comes to weather. And if you love sunshine, Portugal is the place to be. So, when it comes to work and the weather and everything, it helps you uh, increase like your work life balance. It helps find that equilibrium that some of us are trying to find in the United States but can't find. The thing in Portugal is that they prioritize relaxation over the hustle and bustle that you find in the United States. The US is known for having long work hours and minimal vacation time. In Portugal, people take long lunch breaks and enjoy at least 22 days of paid vacation per year. And for me, I do like to take a little nap during the day. It helps rejuvenate me and get my day going to where I'm working optimally. So, for work life balance, Portugal definitely takes the cake. Speaking of cake, let's talk about food and dining. I love food. Hopefully, you love food too. But the thing is, the big difference between the United States and Portugal is that Portugal has fresh, affordable food. Here they have the Mediterranean diet, and we have fresh seafood, olive oil, local produce. And in the United States, it's mainly about fast food and processed meals. And these are the things that are more common. Granted, it's not everything that's eaten in the US, but if you are looking for fresh produce, fresh seafood, it's going to be quite more expensive in comparison. Eating these things is also what goes into your health care. If you're eating awful, you're going to have to pay more in health care later on in life. So I would prefer to eat a healthier diet and not have any issues with my health later on in life, which goes into a big difference in living in the United States versus living in Portugal. It's transportation. The United States is car culture. It's all about driving from place to place. It's about feeling safe and secure in your vehicle. And with Portugal, it's more centered around public transport, walking on foot. And, in cities like Lisbon and Porto, they have excellent train and bus systems. They have metro systems. Here in Coimbra, they are putting in a metro system to get out to the rural areas around here. But in the United States, unless you live in a major city, owning a car is usually a necessity. Uh, so, with all these things, it basically comes down to lifestyle and community. So, what's the big difference between the lifestyle and community in Portugal? For Portugal, they have a strong sense of community. People are friendly, they're social, and they value personal connections. The United States, on the other hand, it's more individualistic, which is great for independence, but sometimes it's lacking in tight knit communities. So, for me, this is the kicker. It's not just about the numbers. Culture plays a massive role. The pace of life in Portugal is much slower, more relaxed, tranquilo, as they say. This can be a huge adjustment for Americans that are used to the hustle and bustle. You get to the cafe, the attendant is not paying attention to you in what you consider a timely manner. They're taking care of other customers, but you want your coffee now. The thing is you're going to get your coffee when you get your coffee. So it's not an easy transition to get into of this understanding that there's no reason for the barista to run over and give you your coffee as quickly as you want it. But this is the thing, is that these people that here, they take longer lunches. They might take an afternoon nap. Hey, I love a nap too, so I ain't hating on that. And there's just a different approach to the work-life balance here. So once you transition and understand that life in Portugal is not like life in the United States, it's easier to get into the groove of life in Portugal. So when it comes to integrating yourself into the culture and the community in Portugal, it can be difficult. And the big thing is the language barriers. I discussed that with the healthcare a little bit. While many people here do speak English, especially in tourist areas, learning Portuguese will significantly enhance your experience here. Trying to navigate daily life without it can be very challenging. So it's important to pick up some tips for learning the language and how to overcome communication hurdles. And having these less tangible aspects and sense of community, the food, the social scene, these are ways that you can connect with other Portuguese people. And the better that you can communicate with others in society here, the better that it'll be for you and for them, because they want to know just as much about the United States as you want to know about Portugal. So having these conversations in Portuguese with them, it's kind of like a handshake. It's something that brings yourself a little closer to them. It's kind of like if they speak English, it's kind of them coming to you. So for me, like, the question is Portugal better than the United States? And for you to answer this question, it might be different than what I find, because it depends. If you want lower costs, great health care, and a relaxed lifestyle, Portugal wins. If you need high salaries, job opportunities, and a fast-paced culture, the U.S. might be a better fit. For me, the decision comes down to what matters most to you. Whether it's financial freedom, career growth, or a peaceful way of life. Anyway, it's your turn. Would you rather live in Portugal or the United States? Drop your answer in the comment section. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more insights on international living. Want to learn more? Check out my videos on how to move to Portugal. And thank you for watching, and remember, adventure is all about stepping out of your comfort zone. I'll see you on the next one. Até já.